Welcome back to the Tournament Center. I'm Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. We're watching Day 2 of Pro Tour San Diego. There's just 2 rounds left. The players have just drafted the last draft of Day 2, and it's crunch time. It's time to figure out which 16 teams are going to get to come back tomorrow, play those last 2 rounds of Swiss, and try to get through to the top 4.
It's the cut to Day 2.1.
It is a little weird this time, but you know, we really wanted 14 rounds to make sure people had a couple losses to give. So the way that plays out at the top couple tables, those guys have got a few losses to give. You know, Terry So and Joe So finally picked up a loss. They're sitting on 9-1. They've pretty much clinched. 27 points is going to be the magic number. Looks like everybody on 27 is going to get in. Maybe a few people below that are going to sneak in.
Tell me someone below 27 is going to get
somebody
in.
Below 27. A couple. A couple.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Your boy Finkel picked up a 1-point penalty for a deck list error. So they're sitting on 20 points. They can get to 26. If they win at 26, they'll get through, but they may regret that tomorrow. I mean, if they go win the table, they could easily miss top 4.
I can tell you for
point.
100% certainty they regret it today.
Yeah, fair. Clerical error. Anyway, table 1. A very familiar look to it. You got we had 3 undefeateds overnight. You had Yamamoto and Takahashi, had Terry So and Joe So, and Lachman and Von Lunen, the sliver guys that have been poisoning everybody. All 3 players still on Pod 1. They've drafted together 3 times today now. Who's your pick for Pod 1? What do you like up there?
I really like Terry So and Joe So.
Okay.
You know, and it's funny because they don't have a ton of experience drafting this format.
No?
Terry was really embroiled in exams.
Okay.
Didn't have a ton of time to prepare for this event. Got a handful of drafts in the weeks leading up to it. Came here, just badgered every pro he knew for information about the format.
Okay.
But he and his brother just feel like they have a chemistry. They feel like they have a bond, and they've been just communicating effortlessly, and they feel like they're not losing a lot of information.
And Terry's also by far the most accomplished player of that Pod 1 right now. He's got the Invitational win, 2 top 8s.
2 top 8s.
The thing is, though, I cheated a little bit here. I watched Lachman and Von Lunen draft. So I'm going with Lachman and Von Lunen. And the crazy part is, so we've been talking about slivers and poison, and everybody out there has heard about this, so they're getting cut off. And so what they've done is they've just abandoned green. They're not even drafting green anymore. Not only are they not drafting Virulent Sliver, they've just got an awesome, they've got a blue-red removal deck. It's full of like Boom Busts and Partick Dragons and Erratic Mutations, and then they've got this tight little white weenie aggro deck where the Benevolent Cavalries were shipping through. So they've got kind of the aggro build they've been doing. They've got removal. I like the way their decks came together, and I love the way they've sort of, meta outthought everyone around them who's suddenly cacking all their slivers. So I like their chances. That should be fun to watch. Table 2 is stacked. Pod 2, you've got all these guys are sitting on 8 and 2 at this point, so one of them will miss, probably, or one of them is going to hope their breakers are good enough, but probably 3 of these teams will get through to tomorrow. Sebastian Thaler is sitting there, the reigning Rookie of the Year. This kid has been playing some magic.
I mean, this is the 3rd Pro Tour in a row. Again, you can miss it sometimes. You only look at top 8s.
Right.
You sometimes miss it.
Right.
But Thaler was right there in Geneva playing for top 8.
Kenji played Dream
broke
Wrecker.
Kenji's heart.
Yeah,
when Kenji it was a mutual heartbreak, right?
Right. Kenji played it out in order to help a teammate. Kenji was already in, could have easily scooped Thaler in. A lot of people would have just scooped him into top 8 there. Kenji played to help a teammate, beat Sebastian, knocked him out.
But he was fighting for top 8 in the last round, and that's what you hope to be when you come to a Pro Tour. That's what you hope to be. He's top 8 the next Pro Tour, and guess what? 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, he's sitting on 8
today,
and 2.
And we're talking about him going to a Sunday again. So
crazy. You've also got Eugene Harvey and John Fiorello at that table. Eugene, those are New Jersey players from way back. You've got Kurihara playing with Nakajima there. Kurihara still in top 10 Player of the Year race contention, in good shape. And then there's Sam Kremersal and Craig Crumples. A couple guys that know their way around a draft pod too.
And they're feeling good. They're having a great time. Sam really seems to appreciate what success he's had so far today. And
your pick?
I'm shotgunning Thaler right now before you can do it.
Do I have to argue? Do I have to disagree?
I don't think you do. I think the point is we're both really impressed with this guy.
I am very impressed with the way. Yeah, I totally agree. So Pod 3 is another one that might get 3 people through. They're all sitting on, 3 of the teams are on 8 wins. So you've got Kaneko and Taru, Husted and Vidagiris. There's a Madison crowd.
Yeah.
It's guys that play with Mike Cron all the time back in Madison.
Madison continues to have a really solid Magic community.
Jurkovic and Arnos Zidek, and then Smith and Anderson. What do you like here?
I'm going to go with Zidek.
He's the guy with the top 8 on the list. It's not the strongest table. I think the Madison guys have been playing well enough. I'd probably bet on Houston and Vertigiris if they were legal.
They just have done a ton of drafts.
Yeah.
So
now you hit the fun part. By pod 4, it's basically winning in. Pod 4, pod 5, pod 6, pod 7, pod 8. All of those guys are back against the wall. They got to go win-win, and then they're through if they pull it off. But pick up a loss, it's probably over. They're going to be playing for money and hoping for tiebreaker miracles. But the dream is rattle off 4 wins, show up after the cameras get turned on tomorrow afternoon. So pod 4, the Piazza brothers. Right. Another brother team. Helmut Sommersberger playing with David Brooker. There's a powerhouse.
I mean,
of a team.
and that's another team that we're always talking about them on the cusp of, as we get to the end of the tournament, they always seem close.
Mike Thompson and John Sunne, a couple of Americans that are always in the money, and then John Finkel and Josh Ravitz.
And John Finkel and Josh Ravitz, boy, it's really heartbreaking because they've got that one missing point.
Right.
And
I don't think it won't cost them day 2.5, but we'll see. They rattle, yeah. Anyway, who do you like at the table? I guess it's unfair to ask you to pick against him, right?
I think John and Josh can get this table, and
the whole room I think is pulling. It's just such a fun story to watch John.
How exciting is it to see John Finkel playing on day 2 of a Pro Tour again?
It's pretty exciting. I'm rooting for day 3. Pod number 5: Braga Cardosa, Holmes Bennett, Kenji Sumura, Ao Paquette, and Jeff Cunningham. Kenji's playing with Hirasawa, a buddy of his. That's Kenji sitting yet again in position to rattle off a day 3.
And it always seems like he has that uphill climb at the end.
It does,
doesn't it?
And then he always seems to win.
And it's almost like he wants to be in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be him or it's got to be Ao Paquette and Jeff Cunningham. They're both.
It's hard for me to bet against Ao Paquette playing at a Pro Tour.
It's true. I mean, he hasn't played a ton of Pro Tours.
He's got a 500 lifetime batting percentage of getting into the top 8 at Pro Tours he plays in.
It's crazy. It's kind of hard to bet against Kenji too, though.
I would have to say Kenji.
Pod 6 is Adam Chambers and Ben Rubin at it. It's also got Shuhei Nakamura playing with Watanabe. Just a couple of nice stars there. Which one's going to get through? Maybe it's one of the unknowns. Maybe it's one of them. Pod 7 has Tomohiro Saito. He's very much in the thick of the Player of the Year race. He and Kenji are in a flat-footed tie for first right now. These next 2 rounds are gigantic for both of them.
They're just turning that last corner on the racetrack here, and he can see Kenji like 1 length ahead in the race at this moment, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, they're tied. They're tied in the Player of the Year race. They're tied in the tournament. It's a dead heat, right? You're giving Kenji the edge because he's Kenji? Saito's been playing some awesome matches. And he's playing with Kaji, who's also very good.
Yes.
And then
they're both Pro Tour winners.
Yeah. The 8th pod, the other one that's winning in.
I just want to stop for a second and tell you who I'm picking at table 7, though.
Oh.
I'm picking a different Pro Tour winner at that table.
Oh, that's Jan Moritz Merkel?
That is Jan Moritz Merkel playing with Jan Royce.
Wow. That could be fun.
I'm picking them to win that table.
I'll be on Saito, but that's interesting. The last pod that's winning in, Quentin Martin, Ruud Varmenhoven are sitting at that table, Carlos Ramal's at that table, and Osip Lebedovich is sitting at that table.
With Stephen Wolanski, up-and-coming American player.
So, ton of names in contention, 2 rounds to go. We'll be watching. We'll be back in a couple hours, let you guys know how it turns out, let you know who's going to be playing on Sunday of Pro Tour San Diego.
Don't miss out on your chance to get an exclusive Rhea Dawnbringer promo foil at Magic Game Day. On Saturday, July 14th, you can get your hands on a never-seen-before promo, participate in a full day of Magic Gaming, and join exciting contests that are free to enter. For more information on game days in your area, go to www.wizards.com/magicgameday.